once again, as it does every day, it seems. Some days you can't tell it's risen, but it has. And I'm going to be traveling through the city of my youth, very close to the town of my birth. I consider it my hometown, Louisville, Kentucky. Louisville. For those uninitiated Yankees among us. Louisville. Much like you're trying to say low bowl. Put them together quickly. Louisville. Say anything in consequence because this is YouTube. In my opinion, really don't matter. Also, this is probably going to get taken down because I played too much Buckaroo Banzai. There's rules about that, man. Around here, boy. Don't you know them the rules around here, boy? Playing your music for friends of yours. Everybody knows. Up north, the plural form of how there's more than one person. It's them, they, those. But down here it's a little different. So, but everybody knows, the plural form of people is y'all. Well, that's really not the plural form. That's y'all is individual. That's singular. Y'all, how y'all doing today? That means you. How y'all? Well, does anybody know the true plural form of y'all? How do you use the plural form of y'all in a sentence? Well, it's easy. You got y'all. How y'all doing? And then you got all y'all. Hey, it's good to see all y'all today. So y'all is singular and all y'all is plural. Little intricacies. Actually, down here where I'm from, we don't even say y'all, or the people down here don't say y'all quite as often as y'all might think they do. They say yuns or youans. How youans doing? How yuns doing? Now here it's more youans. How yuns? How youans? If you get over toward Knoxville more and over toward the coal belt of Kentucky more, over toward like Corbin, Kentucky, so south, eastern Kentucky, then it's more yuns, yuns, like onions, just the yuns part. How yuns doing? I don't know how that plural on that one is. All yuns, how all yuns doing? Probably. Then, up north they got too, it's yous, right? How yous guys. I've heard that many times. How yous guys doing? Well, yous guys is the plural form of guys. Guys sounds plural, but apparently that's not. I don't really know northern terminology as I should. I am a honorary Yankee. Spent far more than half my life up there. Got so much snow in my shoes. The Michiganders call me for tips on hunting. No, that's not true. That's absolutely not true. I can hunt some things, birds especially, and I love, I grew up calling it squab, but squab is actually very young pigeons, very young doves. You get them out of the nest. I've honestly never had squab. My dad says it's delicious. Apparently you cook the bird's guts and all, just everything. You fry them in butter. and then you eat them, bones, guts, and all. Makes me think of what was his name? Man, the guy in the Wheel of Time series, the Valder, the Child of Light. Oh my goodness gracious! You know, it's not super often. It's not every day that casting gets it perfect. But Valder in the series The Wheel of Time on I want to say it's Prime. Oh man, it's played by he's an Englishman. He's black in color. I believe he is an Englishman though, by the accent that he has. I don't know if it's an affected accent. As far as I know, he's from Brooklyn. I have no idea really. But the dude, and what made me think of it when I'm talking about squab is, you know, there's a part where he's eating these birds, these little tiny birds, and the pleasure of them is to eat them, and with the bones and all, and the bones cut the insides of your mouth just a little bit while you eat it. It kind of reminds me of like, what's that real good cereal that does that to you? Captain Crunch. A couple of them do it. Anyway, Alder. Child of the Light. Boy, he's bad. He's a bad guy. And the reason the man plays it off so well is because he's a crusader. He has a purpose. So that seems terrifying. There's so many of those nowadays. And it's just the way that he's like, yeah, I'm gonna slice your back up and pour wine over it, vinegar over it, for your own good, because I love you. Pro tip: no one that loves you would torture you. I myself have unwittingly tortured people that I truly love, and when I realized the things that I was doing that to me just seemed like nothing and seemed like my right to do was actual torture to the ones that I love, you know, I decided to make a concerted effort not to do those things anymore. And now my problem is bringing that up to people that I love. I made a concerted effort not to do the things that bother you anymore, you know, and that probably bothers people that love me too, and that I love. I don't know what the point of any of this is. Concentrate with thought. I'm just going to have you along for a little ride today. I hope they don't strike it because of bonds. I kind of want to say a few things. And look, I don't never want to be terribly political. It's not the point of this anymore. I was pretty political on this channel and got on my soapbox, started hooping and hollering. Look at me. But it's not really about that. I just, so much is going on right now. Here's what I'm worried about. The pendulum, it swings back and forth. So when I was young, it was just the end stages of homosexuality was actually illegal. You know, my dad, when he grew up, it was illegal. If you were gay, you could be put in jail for, you know, doing gay stuff. It didn't matter where they caught you doing it, anywhere. And, you know, would be like, and a lot of times it was in public, was, you know, compounded it, which nobody wants sex stuff going on right in public, I guess, and used to. And, you know, it could be in your own house, and they drag you off to jail, be it homosexual, gay, or homosexual, lesbian, or whatever you want to call it, men with men and women with women. And, okay, and we're not Puritania. This is not a theocracy. You have to show me the legal reason who's being harmed. Now, anal sex sounds harmful to me, but that's beside the point. Who's unwillingly being harmed in the process of this? And, you know, the answer is no. You know, if it's not a homosexual coercing a homosexual or a heterosexual into doing something they don't want to do, with, you know, using demagoguery, fear and coercion, whatever. And sure, there's crimes that can be involved with heterosexual sex and homosexual sex. But what I'm worried about is the pendulum. So the pendulum was swung way over that way in this country. You would go to jail for having sex with your boyfriend if you were a man. You would go to jail for it. Now the pendulum is swinging to where when you take your boy in to get a checkup, get a physical, for your very testosterone riddled boy that wants to play football, you go to get him physical for that at the doctor. And the doctor asks your, I believe, 9-year-old boy, hey, are you a boy? They ask them this is one of the questions, are you a boy, a girl, or neither? For most 9-year-olds, that's a very confusing question. If you think that 9-year-olds should be educated to the point that they know what you mean by that, I don't know. We can have that discussion. I myself disagree with you. And I think that 9-year-olds should be 9-year-olds. They're asexual. They are really at the point part of the LGBTQAAIP plus. They're one of the A's. They're asexual. They're a little girl and a little boy. And, you know, there's a picture. It's in a clear box at my house on the bookshelf. I need to turn it around. It's a picture of myself and a girl in this, right where we're going, right by we're going to Pewee Valley, butt naked, just walking away from the camera kind of at an angle and looking back over our left shoulders toward the person taking the picture. You can see both of our naked butts. And that was the funny thing, right? My mom has she probably took 20 pictures on that day of being this naked little girl. Oh, they're so cute. We were the same age, and we were taking a bath together. We were asexual. There was absolutely no. I'm sure I probably noticed she had an innie, and she probably noticed I had an outie. And that's, you know, you notice those things like you notice someone's hair is a different color than yours, or maybe longer. So the pendulum, it's swinging all this way back. What's going to happen, folks? I mean, eventually, it's going to start swinging the other direction. And it's come this far. You know, what are we going to do? We're going to go back to not only is it, because I'm not sure that it's done swinging to the left here and getting all crazy. It could be. But are we about, Lily, shut up, lay down. Are we about to, you know, are we going to go further to the left, or are we about to start swinging back to the right? And when it gets back to that authoritarian right, you know, what's going to be the penalty then for those kind of things, for being gay, for being homosexual? I don't even want to suggest what it could be. What's worse than imprisonment? Think about it. We have to watch the pendulums swinging and which way they swing and how far we're willing to push them and what we're okay with. I mean, if we're okay with retribution on people of a certain persuasion, skin color, ethnicity, whatever, if we take something out on people of these persuasions because of something that people of these persuasions did in the past that have nothing to do with these people, why then we're no better than this racist stuff I'm hearing now about how, well, if you're going for a vote in California is to make race-based sentencing. You know, to make, and they even say it, to make up for inequities of the past. So you're gonna punish people of certain colors because of history? Oh man, that is so neo-Nazi. I don't even know what that is. It's something that it's definitely one thing. It's un-American. American is, look, what you know, you're somebody. Who cares? This is America. It is the great melting pot. Now, I gotta admit that, you know, we were melting a lot of stuff in the pot from Europe for a long, long time. Anybody can come jump in. It's a nice warm pot. We just need you to melt in. We don't need you to throwing acid into your daughter's face because she, you know, kissed a boy or happened to show her ankles in public. We don't need these things. We need you to be an American if you want to come and melt in. We need you to melt in. We need you to leave the old things behind and embrace our culture. Why? Why'd you come here? If you don't want to embrace our culture, well, stay where you're at. Well, oh, that's xenophobic. No, it's not xenophobic. If Mexico es cerca de mi corazón. I love Mexico. More to the point, I love Cuba and the Caribbean. I'm hoping that as I get older, Cuba opens up. I'd like to one day go. I'm constantly, you know, practicing my Spanish. I'm really not that great at it. I speak a little bit. I like to tell people I speak Spanish. That might be a stretch. It is a stretch. but I speak and understand enough to get by, and I definitely speak and understand enough to gain the respect of the majority Hispanic dock workers that I deal with every day. When I look at them, I say, "Deme una pluma." Can I have a pen? They love it. When I say, es tu pluma, this is your pen. Es tu jefe, ¿qué es eso? What is this? When I ask these questions, when I say things to them in Spanish and then hear the response and understand it, they love me. And I love them. Why? Because we're melting. So the pendulum is swinging. The pendulum should just stop. It's easy for me to say that, but it's hard to do. Hopefully, I have this dream. I have this dream that one day all of God's children, black and white, red and yellow, will eat at the same table. That my little white nephews and nieces will run and play with your little black nephews and nieces. And that justice and mercy would be the watchwords and the rule. That no one would try to gain respect through bullying and all this evil. But, here I am, and I could go on. But all I'm saying is utopian drivel in the end. It's not going to happen. We live in this world right now, and it's the way it is. It's a divisive, evil, spiteful world. We're part of it for now. Well, I guess I might have said enough, and as you can see, traffic is starting to knot up, getting closer and closer to Louisville. I think right now, I think last mile marker seen was low 20s. So the mile markers in Indiana mark how far you are from Louisville when you're on 65 going south. In fact, they mark how far you are from Louisville when you're going north. I think this is mile marker 21. 21 miles. So to put a cap on this, I heard a sermon once and then I wrote my own based on this principle, and I used to preach this sermon. I don't even remember what I titled it, but it was about guarding against the highs and lows. The one I heard was about why I don't drink caffeine. Now, I always have used caffeine, so I didn't go that route, but the preacher's point was that caffeine brings you up and then you crash. And then he didn't want to crash. He didn't want to be brung real high by religious, ecstasy or by drugs or anything. And he didn't want to be brung real low by death in the family, so divorce, one of his children, going to prison for something dumb, whatever thing may come up. And so the idea was to maintain a homeostasis, to stay at a normalcy, and to maintain that normalcy no matter what befalls. Difficult. For me, it's not something that I have accomplished. It's something that I've only striven to do. Striven? I think that's a word. It's something that I've aspired to do. It's something that I yet aspire to do. Me, nah, not so much. I don't want to say that I'm a hothead, but there are people that would say that, I'm sure. As I get older, I've tried to tone the hot-headedness down, turn the heat down, so to speak, and I know that I've accomplished that, but it's not off. And so I do. I have those highs when something happens and the matches touch the gas and the flame appears. And, I have to readjust. I have to go back to homeostasis. I hope that each and every one of you today guard against the highs and the lows. Keep yourself on an even keel. But watch that pendulum. And if you have anything to do with it, if you have any ability whatsoever, help it to not swing. Stop that thing. We don't need the tick and tock. We don't need the right and left. We don't need the it's good, now it's bad. We don't need the we're going to punish you now for the sins of your ancient ancestors. It seems ridiculous to me. And now, friends, as I cruise on into Louisville, remember this: if you forget everything else I've ever said, be good to your friends, be good to your family members, be good to your loved ones. Be quick to say you're sorry. Be even quicker to accept an apology, especially when that thing your friend, family member, or loved one has done seems to be so huge you'll never be able to forget about it. Because, constant viewer, my beloved rider, at a time you think not, your friends, your family members, your loved ones, your life, and everything you know will